What's up, garden nerds? Today we're going to talk about the papaya tree. Make sure you subscribe and like this video. Come on, let's go. All right, guys. Today I'm standing here in front of my papaya tree, my beautiful Hawaiian papaya tree. You see those Hawaiian papayas? I don't want to shake it too much because I don't want the papayas to fall down. This papaya tree was grown from seed. I went to the farmer's market, I bought a Hawaiian papaya, I ate it, put it in my smoothie. It was delicious, which, by the way, the Hawaiian papaya is the only it's the only papaya that I like. I honestly think most papayas are nasty, but I like the Hawaiian papaya. So anyways, I ate that Hawaiian papaya, but I took all of the seeds and then I spread them throughout all my yard. This is just one of the places that I put the seed 3 years ago, and now look what happened. So today I want to talk about the proper microclimate and properly taking care of your papaya trees so that you can have awesome papayas hanging from your papaya tree. First thing I want to talk about is where you place your papaya tree. Now, this is true for all trees. A lot of people say, oh, that spot in my yard looks perfect. I want to put that tree right there. And they go and put it there and the tree dies. What happened? You cannot put trees where you want them to go. You have to put trees where they want to go. So you first have to figure out where's the proper microclimate for certain trees. So with the papaya, where is the proper microclimate? The papaya is a tropical tree. Tropical trees do not like the cold. So when the freezes come, tropical trees die. So the first suggestion that I'll give you, you can see how close it is to my house. It's only a few feet away. During the winter, the house and the warmth from the house keeps it nice and warm. I don't cover this in the winter. When it freezes, I don't cover it. I don't do anything with it. But just the vicinity to the house, how close it is what keeps it nice and warm. If you put it out in the middle of your yard where there's no shelter, no warmth at all, it's gonna die. As soon as it gets cold, your papaya tree is gonna die. So my first suggestion, my first tip is plant it where it's gonna stay warm during the winter. The second thing that you need to think about when planting a papaya, or any tree for that matter, is how much sun it gets. Most trees, there's a few exceptions, but most trees do not want to get blasted with all-day sun. So this specific papaya is east facing. What that means is, here's my home. If I stand here looking this way, I'm east facing. So it's gonna get the morning sun, but once the sun shifts more to the west, the house here is gonna shade it. Also, if you look back here, I have this huge bottle tree, which is shading it in the morning as well. So it really only gets a few hours of direct sunlight when the sun is directly on top of it. Other than that, it's getting shade. That seems to work. I only give suggestions based off of what I personally have done. And for me personally, that has worked, giving the papaya very little direct sun throughout the day. It seemed to have worked. The third tip for papayas, this is very important with papayas, not with all trees, but with papayas specifically. Papayas don't like the wind. You can see they like to grow nice and tall and thin. That's not a good recipe for when the high winds come through, especially the haboobs and the monsoons in the summer months. The wind will topple it over. And if you get in here, you can see this used to be another trunk. But guess what happened? Well, the wind got to it and it toppled over. And so it started growing out a new branch. So another suggestion is plant it close to a house, plant it close to another tree, plant it close to any type of wind block to protect it. Because once it gets this tall and it has fruit on it, it's not extremely sturdy. And so if you can get it close to a structure where the wind isn't gonna blow it over, you'll have better success. I had one in my backyard that was really tall and it wasn't next to a wind breaker, and it toppled over. It was probably a little taller than this. It was about 15 feet. And one morning I came out after a huge windstorm and it was on the ground. So protect your papayas, put them somewhere where the wind isn't going to get to them. Okay, now let's talk about the proper soil for papayas and how do you feed it, how do you mulch it. I put down, and I do this with all my trees, but I put down tons of mulch. You can see all my grass clippings, all the leaves, everything that I put down. If you look in here, you can see it's already super moist and I have layers and layers, a couple inches, 6 inches of just mulch. That's what I do on all my trees. It's specifically what I do on the papaya tree. This keeps the roots cool during the hot summer, and it also makes it so that I don't have to water as much. Now, what do I feed my papaya tree? Well, I shot another video a few weeks ago. Look up there, you'll see it. Click on that and you can see what I feed all my trees. But I'm constantly feeding my trees worm castings, worm tea, composted chicken manure. All of those things are constantly being fed to my papaya tree, along with the mulch. Guys, if you mulch, you don't have to fertilize as much because the mulch will break down by the worms. The worms will break it down into worm castings, and it will feed your tree naturally without you having to do anything. But I don't do anything special, just the worm tea, the worm castings, and the composted chicken manure gets it done. One other thing that I've seen done, I haven't personally done it, but I have seen other people do it, and this might solve the issue of the wind and them blowing over. A lot of people have topped their papaya trees. Like you see here, like we talked about how this just broke and then another branch came out. I've seen a lot of people purposely top their papaya trees to create branches. This makes it a little bit more sturdy, so it's not so long and skinny. That's a possibility. I've never done it, so I can't say for sure if it works or not, but it might be worth a shot if you experiment on one of them. If you top it, let it grow out multiple branches, that will keep it lower to the ground. It will give more branches, which will give more opportunity for it to fruit. All right, guys, so this is another Hawaiian papaya that I grew from seed, from the same batch that the one in the front yard came from. You can see this one, it gets similar sun, but I want to talk about it so you can see different scenarios. If you look at me right now, I'm facing east. You can see the sun is coming right on my face. So this one gets a lot more morning sun than the one that's in the front yard, but it also gets the shade from the palm trees up top when the sun is directly overhead. And then over here, it gets sun in the afternoon or it gets shade in the afternoon from the bamboo. So it gets quite a bit of shade as well. So like I said, I've seen a common pattern, at least with the papayas in my yard. They don't mind the shade. They're a tropical tree, but they don't mind the shade. They actually seem to do pretty good in the shade. I talked about the wind on the one in the front yard. This one, as you can see, it's not as protected like the one in the front yard is. So what I've had to do is kind of tie it up here to keep it from bending over, falling over in the wind. Let's talk about watering. In my experience with the papayas in my yard, I've noticed that they don't want tons and tons and tons of water. In fact, the one in the front yard and this one do not get directly watered. I water my mango tree. Oh, there's two mangoes down there that I didn't know. I was trying to make that one not fruit this year. There's two mangoes down there. Anyways, I directly water the mango tree here and I directly water the bananas here, but I don't directly water the papaya. Same thing in the front yard. There's a few trees next to it that I directly water, but I do not directly water the papaya, and they seem to grow just fine. So take that advice or leave it, but I don't directly water my papayas and they've grown just fine. All right, guys, so this is my experience with papayas. Like I've told you in all my videos, I only give you advice based off things that I've done. And so this is what I've done. This is what's worked for me. Hopefully it works for you. If you follow these things that I've done, it can work for you and you can have awesome papayas growing soon in your yard. Guys, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you like the video. And if you have any suggestions for other videos you want to see, comment below and tell me what videos you want me to shoot and I will be happy to shoot them for you.